Have you ever felt that quiet, almost unshakable feeling deep inside? Like there's a voice within you whispering that you're meant for something more? It doesn't shout, it doesn't demand. It simply waits for you to notice it. Sometimes it's a gentle nudge in the middle of a normal day. Sometimes it's a restless ache when you lie awake at night, wondering if the life you're living is the one you were truly made for. Most people ignore it. They drown it in noise, in routines, in the safe comfort of what's familiar. But if you stop for just a moment, if you truly listen, you'll realize that voice is not a random thought. It's your soul calling you toward your purpose. And here's something powerful to remember. If you stay with me until the very end, you'll discover a truth about yourself so deep, so undeniable, that it could change the way you live the rest of your life. That's not just a promise. That's a reward for giving yourself the time to connect with who you truly are. Life has a strange way of making us forget that we were born for a reason. We get caught in a current: school, work, bills, responsibilities, and before we know it, years pass. We're moving, but are we moving toward anything that matters? Human psychology tells us that the mind craves meaning. Without it, we begin to feel lost, no matter how much we've achieved. That's why even people who seem to have it all often speak of feeling empty inside. It's not because they are ungrateful. It's because they have not yet aligned their life with their soul's true calling. The truth is, you've always had that calling. From the moment you were born, life placed inside you a unique spark. That spark is your compass. It's what makes you light up when you're doing something you love. It's why certain causes, dreams, or moments move you so deeply. It's not random. It's a signal. And every time you ignore it, that inner light dims just a little, not because it's gone, but because it's waiting for you to trust it enough to follow it. So ask yourself, when was the last time you felt truly alive? Not just happy for a moment, but alive to the core of your being. Think about that feeling. Your heart beats differently. Your mind becomes sharper. You feel connected, not just to what you're doing, but to the world around you. That's what happens when you touch your purpose. Your biology responds to it. Your psychology is wired for it. And yet so many people live without it because they've been told to be realistic, to play it safe, to follow the path everyone else takes. But here's the thing. Your purpose isn't on that well-worn path. It's somewhere beyond the noise of the world, in a place only you can find. And it's not going to present itself neatly wrapped with a label saying, "This is your purpose." No, it comes disguised as curiosity, as a dream you can't shake, as a feeling you can't explain. And it's your responsibility to notice it. You might be thinking, but what if I don't know my purpose yet? That's okay. Nobody begins with clarity. Clarity is earned by paying attention to your life. It's earned by listening to that inner whisper instead of silencing it. By allowing yourself to explore the things that make you feel more you. Purpose grows in the soil of awareness, and awareness only comes when you slow down enough to listen. Think about how powerful that is. At any moment, you can begin to uncover what you were meant for. And when you do, something shifts. The heaviness you've been carrying starts to feel lighter. Your daily struggles don't disappear, but they start to make sense because now they're part of something bigger. You're no longer just getting through life. You're moving towards something. That's the secret so many people miss. Your purpose isn't always about changing the whole world. Sometimes it's about changing your world first. It's about becoming so aligned with your inner truth that everything you do flows from it. And when you live that way, the people around you feel it too. You become a source of light without even trying. And that light draws the right opportunities, the right people, the right moments into your life. The question is, will you answer the call of your soul? Will you risk stepping away from the noise long enough to hear what it's been trying to tell you all along? That voice is still there, waiting for you. And if you follow it, it will lead you to the kind of life most people only dream about. A life not just lived, but truly felt. Because the secret is not that you need to find your purpose. The secret is that it's been inside you from the start, quietly waiting for you to listen. And when you do, every single day begins to mean something. And that, more than anything else, is what makes life worth living. Yet, what happens when that voice goes unanswered? Life begins to feel like a constant uphill climb with no clear view of where it's leading. You may wake up each morning, go through the motions, and still feel like something is missing. That's the silent weight of living without purpose. It doesn't always shout at you, but it quietly drains your energy, your passion, and your sense of direction. You might even start to wonder if this is simply how life is meant to be: work, eat, sleep, repeat. But deep down, you know there's more, because you've felt glimpses of it before. It's in those rare moments when you've lost track of time doing something you love. It's in the warmth you feel when you help someone and expect nothing in return. It's in the deep satisfaction that fills you when your actions align with your heart. Those moments are not accidents. They are clues. They're showing you that life is not meant to be endured. It's meant to be lived with intention. Human psychology reveals that when we lack a sense of purpose, our motivation fades, and even our physical health suffers. The mind needs meaning like the body needs oxygen. Without it, we exist, but we don't truly live. That's why the emptiness you feel is not a sign that you're broken. It's a signal that you're ready for change. It's your inner compass urging you to step off autopilot and start steering your own path. You don't need to have it all figured out right now. You just need to take one step toward what feels real, what feels alive. Because here's the truth. Life will not hand you purpose wrapped neatly in certainty. It will give you whispers, sparks, and signs, and you must be willing to follow them, even when they lead you into unknown territory. That's where the magic is found, not in safety, but in the courage to seek what sets your soul on fire. And when you begin to answer that call, you'll realize that the emptiness you once felt was simply space. Space waiting to be filled with meaning. Finding that meaning begins with looking inward, because the answers you're searching for are not hidden in the world outside. They're buried deep within you. Too often, people search endlessly for purpose by chasing what others say will bring happiness, status, money, recognition. And while those things may offer moments of satisfaction, they rarely bring lasting fulfillment. True purpose is not something you stumble upon in the noise of the world. It's something you awaken by listening to the quiet truths within your own heart. This is where honesty becomes essential. You have to be willing to face yourself without filters, without the masks you wear to fit into the expectations of others. Ask yourself the real questions. What makes me feel alive? What moments have left me with a deep sense of peace? What have I always been drawn to, even when it made no sense? These questions are not small. They are the doorway to your inner light. And the moment you start to answer them, you'll notice a shift. Life will begin to feel less like a series of random events and more like a path leading somewhere meaningful. Human psychology teaches us that clarity comes from self-reflection, and self-reflection requires space. That means stepping back from the constant stream of noise, social media, endless obligations, the opinions of others, and giving yourself the gift of stillness. It's in those quiet moments that your soul's voice grows louder. It's in those pauses that you begin to see patterns, desires, and strengths you may have overlooked for years. When you allow yourself to truly connect with that inner truth, something beautiful happens. The fog begins to lift. You start to feel a sense of direction, even if it's just a small pull at first. And with each step you take toward it, that pull grows stronger. Purpose doesn't appear all at once. It unfolds, layer by layer, as you keep moving toward what feels authentic. And the more you honor it, the brighter your inner light will shine, guiding you to the life you were always meant to live. But to hear that inner truth clearly, you must first break free from the noise that surrounds you. The world is filled with constant distractions, endless opinions, comparisons, and pressures that pull your attention in every direction but inward. Every scroll, every headline, every judgment from others can blur the voice of your own soul until it becomes almost unrecognizable. That's why so many people lose themselves. They've been listening to everyone except themselves. Their silence is not empty, it's full of answers. When you step away from the chaos, even for a short time, you create space for clarity to rise. It may feel uncomfortable at first. You might notice fears and doubts that you've been avoiding. But that discomfort is a sign you're peeling back the layers, getting closer to the raw truth of who you are and what you want from this life. It's in those moments of stillness that your mind begins to settle, and the whispers of your purpose start to become clear. Human psychology shows us that our brains are constantly influenced by the environments we live in. If your environment is filled with noise, your thoughts will reflect that noise. But if you surround yourself with peace, your thoughts will align with peace. This is why stepping away even briefly can feel like a reset for your entire spirit. Think about it. How can you expect to find your direction if you're always running through life without stopping to look at the map? Stillness is where you check the map. Stillness is where you notice the signs that have been there all along, pointing you toward what matters most. And once you've tasted that clarity, you begin to realize how much of your life was being shaped by voices that were never your own. When you learn to quiet the outside world and listen inward, you reclaim your power. You stop being pulled by every wave and start steering your own ship. And in that moment, the path ahead stops feeling like a mystery and starts feeling like a choice, your choice. And as you begin to steer your own ship, you'll discover something extraordinary. There is a gift inside you that no one else on this planet can offer. It's not just a talent or a skill. It's the unique combination of your experiences, your struggles, your lessons, and your perspective. Every challenge you've faced, every hardship you've overcome, has been shaping this gift quietly, preparing you to share it with the world in a way only you can. Too often, people underestimate the value of their own story. They compare themselves to others, believing that if they're not extraordinary in a conventional sense, they have nothing to give. But purpose is not about being the best. It's about being real, being true, and offering what is uniquely yours. Think about it. There is someone out there who needs exactly what you carry. They need your words, your kindness, your courage, your example, and they will never receive it unless you choose to step into the life you were meant to live. Human psychology proves that fulfillment is deeply tied to contribution. When we give, when we serve, when we pour ourselves into something bigger than us, our sense of meaning and happiness expands in ways that self-focus never can. Your gift might not look grand in the beginning. It might feel small, almost insignificant. But even the smallest flame can light up the darkest room. What matters is that you use it, that you stop hiding it behind fear, doubt, or the belief that someone else could do it better. The truth is, no one else can do it like you. That is the power of your individuality. When you embrace your gift and bring it to the world, you begin to align with your purpose on the deepest level. You stop asking, "What's the point?" and start living the answer every single day. And in doing so, you become more than just a person moving through life. You become a light, a force, and a living reminder that every life holds something worth giving. When you begin to use that gift, something profound happens. You start to realize that the greatest fulfillment doesn't come from what you receive, but from what you give. The more you pour your time, your energy, and your heart into serving others, the more alive you feel. It's a paradox of life. The act of giving replenishes the giver. Human psychology shows us that acts of kindness release powerful chemicals in the brain. Dopamine, serotonin, oxytocin, the very hormones that create happiness, connection, and peace. This is why serving others is not just good for the world, it's deeply healing for you too. Purpose grows strongest when it is rooted in service. It's not about grand gestures or saving the entire world in one leap. It's about choosing, every day, to make even a small difference where you can. A kind word, a helping hand, a moment of understanding. These may seem small, but they can alter the course of someone's life. And often you won't even know the full impact you've made. That's the beauty of it. You plant seeds without always seeing how far they'll grow. When you live this way, your life stops revolving solely around your own struggles, and you begin to see the bigger picture. The pain you've carried becomes a tool to help others. The lessons you've learned become guidance for someone walking the path you once walked. And with each moment of service, your own sense of meaning deepens because you're no longer just existing for yourself. You're part of something greater. This shift changes everything. Your days gain a new kind of energy. Your challenges take on purpose because they equip you to lift others, and in lifting others, you lift yourself. This is where purpose stops being a concept and starts being a way of life, a way of moving through the world with open hands and an open heart, knowing that your gift is not meant to be kept, but to be shared. But the moment you begin to live this way, a new challenge appears, the battle with doubt. It creeps in quietly, whispering that you're not ready, that you're not good enough, that what you have to offer won't matter. Doubt is clever. It knows exactly which fears to press to make you hesitate. It will point to your past mistakes, magnify your weaknesses, and convince you that others are more deserving or more capable. And if you listen long enough, it can keep you frozen in place, watching life pass by while your purpose waits untouched. What you must remember is that doubt is not a sign that you're unworthy. It's a sign that you're stepping into new territory. Human psychology reveals that the brain reacts to uncertainty with fear because it wants to keep you safe. But safety and purpose rarely live in the same space. The life you're meant for will always require you to walk through the doorway of discomfort. That's how you grow. That's how you prove to yourself that you are capable of more than you've ever imagined. Every time you take a step forward despite your fear, you weaken doubt's grip. Every time you act instead of overthinking, you show yourself that you can trust your own strength. Courage is not the absence of fear, it's the decision to move forward while fear walks beside you. And the beautiful thing is, once you push past that first wall of resistance, you begin to see that fear was never as big as it seemed. This is why the greatest breakthroughs often come right after the moments you almost give up. Doubt will test you, but it cannot define you unless you let it. Your purpose is too important to surrender to the voice of fear. Each time you rise against it, you take back more of your power. And with every step, you're not just proving doubt wrong, you're proving to yourself that you are exactly who you were meant to be. And in the face of that doubt, there comes a moment when you must decide. What will your life stand for? Purpose is not something that simply appears one day like a sign in the sky. It's a choice you make, a line you draw in your heart that says, "This is what I will give my life to." That decision is powerful because it shifts you from drifting aimlessly to moving with intention. Without that choice, it's easy to live on autopilot, letting circumstances shape you. But with it, you become the one shaping your own story. Human psychology shows us that our brains are wired to seek clarity and direction. When you make a firm decision about the kind of person you want to be and the values you will live by, your mind begins to filter out the distractions that don't align with that vision. Opportunities that once seemed invisible start to appear. You notice people, ideas, and paths that match the direction you've chosen simply because you've decided to look for them. This choice is not about perfection. It's not about never making mistakes again. It's about aligning your life with a deeper truth and having the courage to stand by it, even when it's hard. Because there will be days when doubt tries to pull you back. There will be moments when it feels easier to give up than to keep going. But once you've made that inner decision, you have an anchor, a reminder of why you started and what you're moving toward. The moment you choose your purpose, the world around you may not change instantly, but something inside you does. Your steps become more deliberate. Your energy becomes more focused. You stop asking, "What should I do?" and start saying, "This is who I am, and this is where I'm going." That clarity is the foundation on which a purpose-driven life is built, and from that point forward, every choice becomes a step toward the life you were created to live. Once you've made that choice, the real work begins. Living in alignment with it every single day. Purpose is not a single moment of inspiration, it's a daily practice. It's in the words you speak, the actions you take, the habits you build. Every day becomes a canvas where you paint your values through small, consistent decisions. It's easy to think that only the big moments matter, but in truth, it's the quiet, unseen choices that shape your destiny the most. Human psychology tells us that repetition rewires the brain. The more you choose actions that reflect your purpose, the more natural they become. Your mind begins to expect them, your heart begins to crave them, and eventually, they form the very identity you live by. But this requires discipline, because there will always be temptations to slip back into old patterns, to compromise, to take the easier path. That's why alignment is a commitment. It means showing up for your purpose even when it's inconvenient, even when no one is watching, even when it feels like no progress is being made. Over time, this consistency builds something unshakable inside you. You stop relying on bursts of motivation because your life is no longer driven by fleeting emotions. It's driven by who you have decided to be. And that stability brings a deep sense of peace. You no longer question whether you're on the right path because you're living it, step by step. Living in alignment also attracts the right people and opportunities into your life. When your actions match your values, you naturally draw in those who share the same vision. Your relationships deepen, your environment shifts, and your world starts to reflect the person you've become. And in those moments, you realize that purpose is not something you simply find. It's something you live into, one choice, one habit, one day at a time, until it becomes the only way you know how to live. When you live with purpose, you begin to see that your life has a ripple effect far beyond what you can imagine. Every choice you make, every act of courage, Every moment you live with intention sends waves out into the world. These waves touch the lives of others, sometimes in ways you'll never even know. One person's commitment to purpose can inspire another to awaken their own. One small act of kindness can set off a chain reaction that changes a whole community. This is the hidden power of living a purpose-driven life. It doesn't just transform you, it transforms everything around you. Human psychology explains this through the concept of emotional contagion, where emotions and behaviors spread from person to person. When you embody hope, courage, and passion, you naturally influence others to do the same. Your light becomes a beacon in their darkness. It's easy to underestimate the impact you have. You might think, I'm just one person. But every great change started with one person deciding to live differently. Your story, your struggles, your growth, they all become part of a larger story that inspires and uplifts. The courage it takes to choose purpose becomes a silent invitation for others to find theirs. This ripple effect means your purpose is not just about personal fulfillment. It's about connection. It's about being part of something greater than yourself. When you live aligned with your inner truth, you become a force of positive change, even in the smallest ways. And that kind of impact is timeless, stretching far beyond your own lifetime, reaching into the lives of people you will never meet, but who will feel your influence nonetheless. Knowing this, every choice to step into your purpose becomes more than just a personal victory. It becomes a gift to the world, a light that shines through the lives of countless others, creating a legacy of hope, meaning, and love. Living a purpose-driven life is the greatest legacy you can leave behind. It's the mark that remains long after your time on this earth is over. Your impact becomes a thread woven into the fabric of the future, influencing generations to come. The people you've inspired, the lives you've touched, the lessons you've shared, they continue to echo, creating a story far larger than any one moment. This legacy is not about fame or fortune. It's about the quiet confidence that comes from knowing you lived fully and authentically. It's the peace that settles in your soul when you realize you didn't just exist, you made a difference. Human psychology shows us that knowing our life has meaning contributes to a deep sense of well-being, especially as we face life's final chapters. Purpose offers a kind of immortality, a way for your spirit to live on through the ripples you've created. The reward of living with purpose is not just external, it's internal. It's waking up each day with a heart that feels full, a mind that feels clear, and a spirit that feels connected. It's the comfort that no matter what happens, you can face it because you've been living true to yourself. And when the time comes to look back, you'll see a life rich with meaning, not just memories. Your purpose is a gift, not only to yourself, but to everyone your life touches. When you embrace it, you step into a power that changes the way you move through the world. You become a force of love, hope, and courage. And that force, more than anything else, is what makes life truly worth living. So hold on to that truth. Your life matters. Your purpose is real. And living it is the most beautiful journey you will ever take.